Hello there, YouTube. So, apparently, oh, hello you. Oh, you coming for a cuddle, are you? Oh, you just want to check out what the camera's doing, don't you? Right. So I made a vlog, and YouTube's randomly decided to start recommending it to people. So I got hundreds of views and a dozen new subscribers on a video that was a throwaway vlog. Now, I'm okay with that. If people want to just hear about my life, that's fine. I've not been at all well. I've been having cough syrup and lozenges like they're going out of fashion. Cat's been wondering why I'm rasping, why I'm struggling to sleep or move or really do much of anything. But it's not been too bad. At one point, I felt really bad. I thought it might be COVID, but I test negative for COVID. So I don't think it is that. But yeah, I haven't been able to do any writing. I haven't been able to really concentrate on much of anything. And I've spent most of my time in bed, or actually not really in bed, just lying on the sofa mainly. But yeah, I wanted to talk about something different, and that was, I was thinking about how I prioritise my time, because in my last video I mentioned I want to do a lot of things. I mentioned I want to make YouTube videos, that I want to start up Booktube again, I want to get back into my reading, I want to play a lot of video games. I've got loads of video games I really wanted to play. I mentioned in a previous video that I want to try and get my 50th Platinum Trophy before the end of the year. That is not going to happen. I said that and then immediately got sidetracked writing and barely touched a video game for weeks. So I still haven't got any additional Platinums on top of the one Platinum I got the first week I started doing that. So I'm not going to get 20 Platinums in a month. That's not going to happen. I might get a couple in December, but I'm not going to get 20. But I was thinking about the games I want to play, the films and shows I want to watch, the books I want to read, things like that. It got me thinking about time and how much time we actually have. Now, by my estimation, if you assume you have 8 hours of free time a day. Now, that's probably pushing it, but let's assume you do. If you have 8 hours of free time a day, that approximates 3,000 hours a year. Now, those 8 hours, assuming that you're working, that you have general normal life, you're going to be sleeping, you're probably going to be working, you probably have a family in that. You can pretty much divide your life into 3 sections. Sleep, work / education / whatever it is you're doing to keep yourself going, and free time. And free time has to encompass everything else. So those are your 3 8-hour blocks. That's 24 hours in a day. Now, in those times, you're going to want to be able to see family. You're going to want to spend time with friends. You're going to want to eat a decent meal. You're going to want to sit in a bath and just relax for a bit. So you're not going to use all 3,000 of those hours in any given year on just one hobby. So when people say they've got 3,000 hours that they're going to play, let's say 30 games that are all 100-hour long video games. You could theoretically do that, but that's putting 8 hours a day into video games. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time that you now can't be spending doing anything else. You're not going out with friends. You're not spending time on other hobbies. You're not doing anything other than sleeping, going to work or whatever it is you do to make a living, and then coming home and immediately playing those games. Same with reading. You could say, right, I'm going to read as many books as I can. 30 hours is about right for a big, epic, something along the lines of Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or some of the larger, big, sci-fi, Perdido Street Station or Pandora's Star. they take around the 30-hour mark to read. So you could say, and this is pushing it a bit, you could go, right, I'm going to read 100 big epic novels. But you'd, again, be reading 8 hours a day, every day for that year. It's interesting to consider these limits and what it is I want to achieve with them. So I've decided I want to try and separate my time. Obviously, I'm also writing. Like, if you've got creative endeavours in this time, you've got to fit that into these 8 hours a day as well. And I'm doing a lot of writing. That said, I do treat the writing like it's my job. But because of my chronic fatigue and chronic pain, I often have a lot less usable time in the day. It might take me an hour to get up and get out of bed because of a subluxation or excessive pain in a leg or something along those lines. It means I can't move. It might take you, say, 15 minutes to have a shower. It'll take me over an hour. That kind of thing. And that needs to be accounted for. But if we take all of that into account and go, right, okay, let's assume that I still have those 8 hours free. And let's see what I can spend them on. What do I really want to do? Now, I'm going to try to focus that 3,000 hours. I want to say, right, if we split it so that I'm spending, say, 500 hours on each hobby, 500 hours on making YouTube videos, 500 hours reading, 500 on video games. I play my role-playing games, which I run my role-playing games on both on my server and in person. I'm not going to stop doing those. I'm currently running 2 a week, and they are whole evening events effectively. But let's call that 500 hours in a year. Right? It's probably a little more than that, honestly, but let's call it that for the sake of argument. So far, we've used 2,000, and all we've done is reading, making videos, playing video games, and my role-playing hobby. I'm going to want to watch TV, so that's another 500 hours spent watching TV, and I'm going to use the other 500 hours for spending time with friends and family, because I'm going to want to visit friends and family or have them visit me and just spend a bit of time together. So that's all my time used up, and that's all my hobbies accounted for. Now, with 500 hours a year, what can I reasonably do? Well, if I'm spending 50 hours on a video game, 500 hours lets me play 10 games a year. Now, I don't usually spend 50 hours on them. I might only spend 30 hours on them. But what that means is I can reliably expect to play 1 new game per month if I'm playing a mainstream video game. Now, if I'm playing a platformer, they are 2 or 3 hours long. They can effectively be their own separate little thing. I could probably, arguably, add on 1 mainstream game at like 30 to 40 hours and 2 platformers per month and still be at around the right amount. That's fine though. So let's say I get to play 1 mainstream, like AAA, story-driven single-player game per month, and I get to play 2 indie 2D platformers or something along those lines per month. And I also get to, say, put a little bit of time into an ongoing game, like something like Street Fighter, because that's something that you can also argue is the social. It is part of the social 500 hours, because that's the kind of game I'm gonna pick up whilst I'm chatting with friends and whilst we're playing online together. What about films? Films and TV shows. I'm gonna also want to spend time watching YouTube. I'm gonna have to count that. What this means is, with the 500 hours, right, that is from the 3,000 that we originally started with, that's a sixth. So that means I'm allowed an hour and a half of TV a day. if I'm spending time on YouTube, that counts. But that means that I can spend, say, an hour pissing about on YouTube a day if I want to, and watch an episode of a TV show. Or I could say, right, I'm not going to watch YouTube today. I'm not going to piss about on social media. I'm going to watch a film on this day. And that would be what I could do. Reading-wise, it only allows for an hour and a half reading a day. But that's going to be right if I want to do other stuff. So, that means I'm going to be able to get through, at most, one book a week. But let's pare it down, because that's one book a week if we're assuming... Hey, love. If we're assuming the 7 to 8 hour read, which is your standard 80 to 100,000 word novel. I read big epics. So let's assume that we're now reading 2 books a month. And let's leave it at that. And try not to make it 2 huge epics. If you're reading one big one, read a smaller one to go along with it. And that would be fine. That's where I think a healthy use of time sits. So that's what I'm aiming at. I'm going to aim to read 2 books a month. Maybe 3 if I'm reading a couple of shorter books. I'm going to aim to play 1 mainstream big game and a couple of small indie games per month. Yeah, love. And I'm going to aim to spend about an hour and a half, no more than that, on YouTube and TV per day, with the aim that I'm going to want to actually watch some films as well. So, let's say every week I want to watch at least 2 new films, or I want to spend enough time that I've managed to watch my way through, say, let's call it 4 to 6 episodes of a TV series that I'm enjoying each week. That would give me enough time to be able to get through like the average mini-series in about 3 weeks, like the average 10-episode mini-series, and something a bit longer, like say your syndicated 24-episode shows. That would be something that I'd have to spread out over a few months. But I think that's a healthy way of doing it. With that, I think I will have enough time to experience enough different things that I won't feel like I'm developing a backlog or a TBR list that's crawling to the ceiling. The amount of video game sites and video game like YouTube channels I see where they talk about their backlog, same with booktubers talking about their TBR. I think a lot of people overestimate just how much time they've got. I'm not looking to read every book ever written and play every game ever made. I'm looking to enjoy my time and enjoy my hobbies. I think this is a healthier way of doing it. So that's what I'm going to do. And if this sounds like a sensible plan, I'd love to know what kind of things you're going to spend your time on. Assuming you have 3,000 hours a year, what are you going to spend those 3,000 hours on? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. And I'll see you in the next video. To the new viewers, the new subscribers, thanks for coming along. If you're happy to stick around and have a casual chat, great. I'm not quite sure why you all joined. Maybe it was the political thing. Maybe it was because I was bashing the UK economy, and the UK economy does need a good bashing. I will make political discussions and topics on current affairs, but it's not going to be always about that. I don't want to be too negative. I don't want to always be talking about current news. So hopefully this rambling little chat is enough for you. But if not, no harm, no foul. But thanks for checking out the channel anyway. And for those who've been here for a long while, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you again. It's nice to always have a chat, even if it's only a couple of us chatting away. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Till then, bye.